Welcome to this week's Inside ISD. I'm Cole Sellers, and with me today is Jim Norris, the Assistant Superintendent of Finance and Operations for the district. Welcome.
Thank you, Cole.
At the last board meeting, the board lowered our tax rate. Explain how that was determined.
We did, and it's really determined by the growth of our school district's tax base. And this actually is the third school year that we've been able to lower that tax base. Let me give you just a little bit of history. Back with the '86 legislature, there was really an outcry from people to get the property tax rates down, and so the legislature funded the schools with some additional money. By doing that, they compressed or lowered the tax rate at the local level. That in combination with our tax base growth, now that we have Google in our school district, we have 600-700 houses being built every year. Our tax base grew over $1 billion this last year, and it drove our tax rate down to the lowest that the state set. In other words, our low tier 1 value. With doing that, we were able to lower it. Second part of that is the interest and sinking tax, and that's the tax that pays for the debt on our school buildings as we build buildings. And again, because of the growth, we were able to take a penny off of that rate as well and still generate enough money to make a prepayment on our bond debt of $6.9 million. That's like paying your home mortgage off early. In doing that, we saved the taxpayers about $7.5 million in future interest. So it was a win-win for everybody. It was a good move this year by our board. I thought they did a great job in doing that.
People sometimes assume that the school district or city controls the valuation. Can you explain how that process works?
Okay, actually, the school board actually sets the tax rate. The value you have on your house or your piece of property or your commercial venture or whatever it is set by the Ellis County Appraisal District, and that is the way it's all said is what is a willing buyer and a willing seller, what number would they come to? If you were to sell your house, you're willing to sell it for this amount, and the buyer's willing to sell it, buy it for this amount. That's what's called the appraisal value. And so that number changes. In this hot real estate market that we're in this part of Texas, I promise you those values are going to go up every year, and they will continue to grow up. And as we continue, like I said, we'll go to build 600 or 700 new homes. That even drives the market up even higher. So that's who sets the values. The local school board sets the rates.
So let's talk about the bond projects.
Okay.
We have Coleman Elementary and the Heritage expansion that'll open up next fall, but there's also some other projects we complete.
There is. We're kind of getting to the very end of the 2016 bonds. It's been, 5 years now? We're almost there. Let's talk about the Heritage Edition. That's going to open a part of that, the classroom wing that's kind of out on the east side of that building, will open in December, maybe January. And so we'll start using those for classes. The rest of that building, the fine arts, the competition gym, some additions to the field house, additional cafeteria space, those kind of things are going to open next summer, next August. But it's been a good project, and it will more than double the size of that school as far as capacity. Coleman, exciting project out on 14th Street. If you kind of think about where Kroger is, Kroger and Hawkins Run are the two roads that are out there. 14th Street, I mean, in Hawkins Run. So it's a great project. It'll be about 750 student elementary school, one level. It's very much like the Irvin Elementary that we redid. It's got some pods, some neighborhoods in it, big central library. It's great. It's an exciting project because it's the last build for that kind of thing that we're going to do out of this bond project. We do have one more thing that's going to happen. We've got some other things happening. We're doing some safety and security work at every school. We're redoing the arena. If you've been out there, you'll notice some work being done in the MHS arena. Some of those things, we're doing some work at the stadium. But the last thing is really to build or construct a building over at the stadium, multi-stadium, be very much like the locker room area, but it's not for locker room. It's going to be a place where our athletic offices will be moving over there from the administration building where I am. We'll also have the Hall of Honor there. We'll have a big meeting room that coaches can use. We'll have another area for officials. Believe it or not, we don't have enough dressing rooms for officials at ball games now because we've gotten so large. So that's really the last major project that we'll do. There's still some technology things that are going to happen, and like I said, some safety and security. We're going to do some more with some parking in an area around Hill Support Center, the old Jenkins Daycare Center area. So it's been fun. It's been a long run, and I'm tired, but I'm really glad that we're getting to the end of it.
I heard you speak last night, or the other night, about the amount of money the district has saved the taxpayers by paying off some of the bonds early. How does that work?
Well, that's just what I said a while ago. Every year we look at what number or what available dollars that our interest and seeking tax rate will bring in. We could lower that tax rate and have that bond still out there to pay, or we could take some of those dollars, which is what we're going to do this coming year or this year. We're going to take about $6.9 million, that's tax money that comes in, and pay bonds that maybe these won't mature for 15, 20 years, but we'll buy them back. In other words, we'll buy them off the market. And doing that, you save that future interest. It's just like I said a while ago, it's like your house mortgage. You can make a double payment every month and pay your house mortgage off early if you can, and lower the length instead of 30 years, maybe it's 20 years. And that's what we're doing. We're just paying that interest off early.
Finally, let's talk a little bit about the growth rate in our school population.
It's exciting right now. I track the attendance and enrollment every day, several times a day, in fact. This morning we were at 10,410 students. The most we've ever been is 10,415, and that was last Thursday. So right now we're up 598 students from this day last year, for this week last year, which is about a 6% growth. Now that's really high for us. I've seen us grow in the 5%, 4%, those kind of numbers, but to get over 6% is a pretty good amount. Just back up a little bit and tell you about last year, and really the last couple of years. The year before that we were in the 2 to 3%. Last year, less than 1%. We actually grew 59 students, and out of 89 school districts in North Texas, all of them around Dallas-Fort Worth, you can think about, there was only 35 that grew at all, and we were one of those 35. And that was the least growth we've ever had in years and years. So right now where we are, we thought we'd be around 10,150, something like that. We have a demographer that helps us with our numbers. We thought we'd be around that number. That's kind of moderate growth, and boy, we went right through that the first week. And so we're seeing some really phenomenal growth right now. And he gave a report to our school board last Monday night that he anticipates, with all the developments that are going around Midlothian, that we could be at this 4 to 5% range for the next few years, which means in 10 years we'd have 14,000, 15,000 students. There are right now on the ground about 1,600 lots ready to build a house on. I can give you some examples. If you go out toward the Groves, or you go out to Brandy Ridge 2, you can go out Mockingbird Springs. I mean, there's all these areas, and those houses, Hayes Meadows, Hayes Crossing, those are ready to build on right now. Then there's 16,000 lots that are in development. In other words, a developer has gone to the city and said, hey, I want to plat this. I'm going to have 200 lots or 500 lots or 2,000 lots or whatever. So there's 16,000. Now, they're not going to be built on today, but you can be assured they're going to be built on in the next 10 years or so. So yeah, it's a growing place, and I don't see it slowing down.
That's all the time we have for you today. Thank you, Mr. Norris, for being with us today. Please check back next week for another edition of Inside MISD.